Let's be real. Every single day, we are just bombarded with headlines about the latest study, right? Everything from coffee to climate change. And some of it is truly groundbreaking stuff. But some of it, well, it's not so great. So how in the world do we cut through all that noise and separate the solid science from the shaky claims? That's exactly what we're diving into today. We're going to explore a whole new way of thinking about research that honestly empowers every single one of us to be a better judge of the information we see every day.
And it all really boils down to this one question. You see a compelling headline, and maybe it confirms something you already thought, or maybe it just totally challenges your entire worldview. Your first instinct might be to share it or to just dismiss it out of hand. But what if there was a better way? A framework to quickly figure out if a study is credible without needing a PhD in statistics. That is the puzzle we are solving today.
At its core, the difference between good and bad research isn't some kind of mystical secret. As researcher Herman Aguinis points out, after decades of accumulated knowledge, we actually know what works. Good, credible research is transparent. It shows its work, It explains its methods and data openly. It's rigorous, meaning it follows these tough, established procedures that are designed to weed out bias, and it's built on a solid foundation of what we already know. Now, on the flip side, questionable research is often opaque, kind of hiding how it got to its conclusions. It's flawed in its design or its analysis, and in the worst cases, it can literally make things up. These aren't just opinions, there are really clear standards.
Okay, so you might be thinking, this sounds like it's for scientists in a lab coat, right? And for a long time, that's exactly how research methods were treated, as this super specialized, kind of intimidating field. But what we're talking about here is a major shift in that thinking. This isn't just for specialists anymore. It's a philosophy for all of us, because in the information age, we are all interacting with research, every single day.
And here is the key idea that changes everything. Most of us are not, and we really don't need to be, these deep methodological specialists. Instead, just think of yourself in one of two roles. You might be a methods user, someone doing their own research, like a student writing a thesis or a manager trying to analyze team performance. Or, and this is much more common, you're a methods consumer, someone who reads and uses research that other people have produced. Just reframing it like this is so powerful. It takes all the pressure off of being an expert and instead focuses on being an informed, practical user.
And this brings up a very modern trap. You might be thinking, well, can I just ask an AI if a study is any good? But the answer is a hard no. As experts warn us, tools like ChatGPT can be flatly wrong. They have this thing called generative AI hallucination, which is just a fancy way of saying they confidently invent facts, sources, entire studies, just by mashing together patterns from the data they were trained on. See, they don't understand truth, they only understand patterns. Relying on them to check research is a recipe for disaster.
So who exactly is a research consumer? Well, as you can see, it's pretty much everyone. It's students trying to build a solid argument for a paper. It's researchers in one field trying to understand breakthroughs in another. It's organizational leaders making million-dollar decisions based on market data. It's policymakers trying to craft laws that will actually work. And yep, most importantly, it's you. Every time you read a news article about a health study or a business trend, you are consuming research. This whole framework is for everyone.
Okay, so if we're not all going to be experts, how do we approach a dense, 40-page research paper without our eyes totally glazing over? This is where a brilliant analogy comes in, one that completely changes the game by offering a new, much more accessible way to think about research.
The concept that unlocks this whole approach is called modular design. Think of it like a set of Lego bricks or a really well-organized toolbox. It's a system where each part, each module, can be used all on its own, without you having to deal with the entire system at once. I mean, you don't need to understand how the entire engine works just to change a tire, right? You just grab the specific tool you need when you need it. This idea is the foundation for making research manageable.
Just think about how you listen to music. If you want to hear your favorite song, you don't listen to the entire album from the very beginning, do you? No way, you jump straight to that track. We should treat research the exact same way. Start with a specific question in your mind, like, how many people were in this study? Or, what exactly were they measuring? Then, go find the track you need. It might be a single table in the results, a paragraph in the methods section, or one specific chart. Just consume that one piece of information. You can skip all the rest until you have another question. This modular music album approach turns a huge, daunting task into a series of small, easy steps.
Now, to make this even more concrete, the goal is to provide a practical toolkit, not some abstract theory. Imagine having a simple, user-friendly checklist to evaluate a study. It might ask things like, was the sample size mentioned, and is it big enough?
Is the funding source disclosed? Did they control for other obvious explanations? It turns a complex evaluation into a series of simple questions. Or think of clear how-to guides that walk you through a specific statistical method in plain English. Simple lists of do's and don'ts can give you quick red flags to look out for. This approach is all about digestible figures and tables over huge walls of text, and crucially, it connects everything to real-world examples and applied cases. It's about being empowered with practical tools, not overwhelmed by jargon.
But this isn't just some academic game of gotcha, finding flaws in papers just for the heck of it. The entire purpose of making research methods more accessible is to bridge the huge gap between a paper being published and that knowledge actually making a difference in the world. It is all about impact.
For a researcher, getting an article published might feel like crossing the finish line. But in this new way of thinking, that's just a milestone. The work isn't done. High-quality research includes the next critical step, the effort to make sure that the findings reach broader audiences, the leaders, the policymakers, the public who can actually benefit from them. The research has to get out of the lab and into the real world to have any real meaning. So what is the point of all this, really? It boils down to one ultimate goal: using credible research to improve our world. That means making individual well-being better, whether it's through medical insights or psychological understanding. It means boosting how well organizations perform, creating better workplaces and more effective companies. And it means building a better society by helping craft policies that are based on evidence, not just ideology. Every single tool we've talked about serves this one vital goal.
And that brings us right to this moment. In a world that's just flooded with misinformation, AI-generated content, and all sorts of questionable data, the need for this skill set has never ever been more urgent. This isn't just a nice-to-have academic skill. Society is demanding it. Our ability to solve our biggest challenges, from public health to economic stability, it all depends on our collective ability to identify and then act on sound, reliable information. Social and behavioral science researchers can and should deliver it, and we as consumers have to learn how to spot it.
So I'll just leave you with this. The next time you scroll past a headline that makes some bold claim based on a new study, are you going to pause? Will you think of it like a music album and ask yourself, what's the one track I need to check here? Will you ask what's really behind the data? Because having the confidence to ask that question, that's the first step toward becoming a truly informed citizen in our very complex world.